who fell in love with the Angus girl. They grew up 4 miles apart near Heatherdown, which is where this tale started to unfurl. You can all hear me, right? Yeah. Pretty loud. The boy Charlie, of Charles Sr. and Lillian, was reasonably decent. The girl, Melanie Lou, was from Cecil and Millicent. The Parkers had Hereford, a proud white and red. The Armsteads had Angus, which they famously bred. Charlie was first schooled in Little Pine Ridge, where he often skipped classes to fish with Richard Blurton. Charles Sr. found out and cut a switch of willow, which left Charlie's ass quite hurtin'. Lou rode to Onaway on the horse Buddy with siblings Wendy and Lynn. They lived close, but yet unknown, till the relations did begin. Hereford boy showed his steers against Lynn and Ken's Angus, so shiny and black. It was often the Armsteads ahead, if you want to keep track. Lou became Alberta Angus princess in 1956. Charlie was smitten, his tummy felt sick. He shouted, "Ken and Lynn, keep your trophies and ribbons of blue. All that I want to win is your sweet sister Lou." Lou happened to fancy Fred White, who was cute, tall, and smart. He took her to a dance in Cher Hill. Charlie saw his chance, showed her how good he could dance, and some say Fred is waiting there still. The hook was set, they were joined at the hip, and around Lou, Charlie would constantly lurk. One long weekend, Charlie called Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and on Monday, Cecil had to ask, "Jesus, don't you ever work?" Charlie took work at the gravel pits in Forest Street. Lou studied business at McTavish College, way downtown. They were getting their start and making their way. It was about time to look for a wedding gown. They were married August 29th, 1964, at Heatherdown. Lynn and Cliff, Wendy and Myrna at their side. The dance was in Onaway Community Hall, and all over the dance floor they did glide. Back then they were proper and no living in sin. A house, 10941 150th Street, is where they moved in. Since 1961, Charlie had a solid job, a big company in town called Coots. A shop worker building sawmills and trucks and conveyors is what kept him busy in steel-toed boots. A baby, no doubt, was soon on the way. They were about to expand their kin. In September of 1966, a daughter was born, and her name was Penny Lynn. They spent so much time farming with Charles and Lil, in 1968, they swallowed the pill and moved out of the city, their ambition you could not douse. They moved into Hereford boys' grandparents' old farmhouse. No insulation, a cistern, potbelly stove, and a hand pump. They spent so much time being cozy, in 1968, Lou soon had another baby bump. They made the move, bought the farm, literally, not figurative, and it was always their plan to make it the best, not quite so primitive. They bought their first David Brown, that's a tractor, at 18% interest, and worked hard to pay off their debts. As Angus girl was pissed, it's this period we reckon she started hating the government and banks, don't you know? It was 1968, and the Prime Minister was Pierre Trudeau. They cleared a nice spot away from the corrals and the road, somewhere a lot neater. In 1971, built a new house with 3 toilets, a furnace, and a top-notch water heater. Angus girl canned fruit and beef, made the kids jeans to boot. At one point, she even stitched Hereford boy a polyester leisure suit. That's true.
That's true.
Now you think I'm telling you these two were cheap? Not much cash from the purse or wallet would creep. They were self-sufficient and strong, like their folks showed them how, and they really only spent money on whiskey and chow. While Angus girl kept the house in good shape, Charlie drove to work in the city, a bit of escape. He worked at Coots with brother Cliff and in-law Colin. Then he would race home at night, where kids, wife, and cattle were ballin'. Between gardens and chickens and cows and heifers, they somehow find time to manage the effort of helping the Onaway Ag Society make some money and often the things they did were quite funny. They made mascots and costumes. Charlie was Big Bird at the skate-a-thon, while Lou ran the pancake supper and cooked sausage like a marathon. They helped build an arena and helped make their hometown a place of pride. It was always lots of work, but still a fun ride. With the kids in school and doing really so well, it seemed to most very easy to tell that their life was working out as good as expected, even though their fun time was a bit neglected. Come to the truth, they really always had fun and made smiles and joy quite a habit. Many can attest that the door never squeaked on the family liquor cabinet. Hereford boy was proud of his cattle, and Angus girl the perfect farm wife. He drove downtown every day to bring home the pay. She kept busy taking care of their life. They had 50 cows and calves and feeders to tend. There were combines and tractors and fences to mend. In 1972, Charlie moved from coveralls to a suit and tie. He moved out of the shop and gave sales a try. He was a natural, smooth talker and could make the products fly. So good, in fact, he earned a free trip to Hawaii. In 1977, with friends Reynold and Gladys, they got on their first airplane. Free booze on charters back then. When they landed, aloha, they were feeling no pain. Charles Sr. and Lillian lived right next door, and they helped out a lot and often did chore. Angus girl was kind and the gentlest of people, and for a time took a turn housing her dad Cecil. He stayed in their home, needing oxygen and care, and Angus girl was happy to have her dad there. Cecil would heave to breathe and grumble and puff. He was a strong voice in the house, even though a bit gruff. He told Penny and David, "You turn off that TV. Out feeding the cows, helping your folks you should be." Hereford boy and Angus girl were lucky to have so much family around. Like when a fallen tree on Charlie's head, Brother Cliff did found. Charlie was pushing down trees with the tractor and was late to eat at his folks. So Cliff went looking, because Charlie never missed many meals. No jokes. He was loopy and in hospital for a few days he did stay. It all helps explain why he looks like this today. Angus girl was gifted and could sew and knit. She would type, clean and cook. She never quit. Pull a calf or bale hay, anything she could do. Hereford boy knew he was lucky to have Lou. Hereford boy was handy and could fix anything they would say. Cecil once told Milton and Danny, "Stay away. Don't touch that baler until Charlie can see. He will know what to do and repaired it will be." Wendy once gifted a box of vacuum parts. Hoover pieces, a mess. Fix this if you're so smart. Well, next Christmas under her tree, a strange gift was lurking. Charlie took all the pieces and got that damn thing working. As the farm and the cows and the kids all progressed, the economy in the 80s became quite depressed. Coots Machinery shut down, locked the doors in 85. Charlie and Lou, Cliff and Gwen, Myrna and Colin would all survive. Now, what was supposed to be a new Quonset for grains, machines, and collateral was now the new home of Heatherdown Mechanical. Working now at home, building sawmills and fixing it all, meant Charlie was done driving to the city. He was having a ball. More time at the farm with the kids and Lou, and it was really handy to walk into the house for a poo. Penny met Leo at college up north, in college at Fairview, and all loved him and welcomed, because lots of hard work he would do. They married in 90 and built a home on 4 acres of the original farm, and they are the makers of Clayton and Zane, 2 boys, tall, smart, and loud. Charlie and Lou are certainly proud. Now back to the 80s, where the steady work rolled in. They were welding and machining and putting grain in the bin. Life was working kind of like they had planned. It seemed all the hard work put things well in hand. So they started to drive with a truck and a trailer. They left behind the tractor and baler with family and friends to campsites and lakes. They even drove all the way to Alaska, then Newfoundland, for Christ's sakes. Their special son, David, was into the drama. He gets it from Charlie, or Lou, or maybe Grandma. He taught them to ski around 1990, you see. That's right, they started to go downhill at 50. The passion was strong to be on the slopes and snow, and in time, every resort in the Rockies they did go. With Sharon and Larry, Chris and Nadine, or grandkids, the mountains were calling, so that's where they hid. Now, Angus girl had been around cows all her life, and around age 60, she felt it was causing her some strife. We've done well, Hereford boy. Our herd we are proud to show, but I'm old and you're older. Down the road they must go. In 97, the truck to the last beef all the way. And it's funny, or sad, when I hear Charlie say that as he was waving goodbye and sorrow filled his senses, old Lou was already tearing down the fences. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a mutual decision, but Lou wanted less work, so it was done with precision that the farm would do dirt and grain and hay, and nothing that could shit or ball or get mastitis could stay. The family can recall 4-H shows and memories of animals till they're beaming, but they could never forget vaccination day and all the rage and the screaming. Close the gate, hold her tail. Where's the ointment for warbles? Let's be honest, dealing with cattle as a family is horrible. Some giggles there. So, in 2000, when Charlie was almost 60 years old, the business that had been like finding a pot of gold was shut down, and retired the couple was now. But slow down, get lazy, they didn't know how. Lou started crafting. To shows and markets did go, selling handmade denim jackets and stuff. Who would know that there were so many old folks just waiting for a chance to pay $200 for a coat made of old pants?
Yeah.
Aunt Joan called Lou and said, I have some time on hand. Why don't you and I go see Iceland? Lou said, cool, let's do it, but what about Chuck? Joan said, he's your husband, sister. I don't give a funny. Funny, Charlie said. Iceland? Why? Don't waste the money. But determined they were, and to plan was no doubt. Hereford boy finally went along for fear of missing out. It sparked a new passion for travel and trips. They couldn't ski anymore as Charlie needed new hips. Well, he got one, then later two. He's bionic, you know. Through x-ray machines and airports, he will not go. So they jetted all over the world on the go, almost everywhere, like that song by Hank Snow. Egypt, Costa Rica, Mexico, Panama, Alaska, Norway with Wendy by choice, Bahamas, Yukon, Kenya, New Zealand, Guatemala, Florida, and Arizona with Lynn and Joyce. All over the U.S., from east to west, they had their health and were feeling blessed. They liked bikes, and all over the world they would pedal with niece Lori, the ride for MS, and also the Valley Kettle. They even once rode on the highway from the farm into the city. The grandkids rode with them and said it was sure a nice ride, but it seemed really far. You're crazy old folks. Next time, take a car. They rode all over the country, and according to some reports, Hereford boy actually looks okay in tight spandex biker shorts. Their son had a wedding, but it was more of an oopsie. He has a beautiful family now, 2 teenage boys with Michelle, you see. Nowadays, it's slower.
He doesn't understand.
Do you need something? Nowadays, it's slower. Skis and bikes are retired. It's now poker and... What's the matter? Hang on. Go sit down.
Come on, Daddy.
Someone give him some cheese. What's the matter? Nowadays it's slower. Skis and bikes are retired, and it's now poker and cards and their yard that makes them tired. Oh, come on. Texas Hold'em with Bob and Sheila, Lynn and Joyce is always fun. It's a $10 buy-in, and then they are done before dinner, and they depart, the cards they fold. Nobody stays up late to drink and gamble these days. Look at them, they're so damn old. The farmers wandered to fiddle contests, small town rodeos, and picked blueberries at fall time. They loved to listen to cowboy poetry at small town fairs, where the rhymes were no doubt better than mine. Hereford boy and Angus girl are now taking it slow. To Onaway for the seniors is often where they go. Lou loves to make quilts and read and watch baseball, the Jays. Charlie watches rodeo and putters in his shop these days. 60 years of marriage and their love is still strong. We're also lucky to be around to watch along. Charlie and Lou, of you we were all so proud. That's why we're here. You've drawn quite a crowd. To celebrate a great couple who fit each other like a glove, Hereford boy and Angus girl, still happily in love.